It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
This right here is Car Con Carne. It's a Q101 podcast. I'm James Van Alstyne. Car Con Carne is presented by Easy Automation. It's time, especially as we're heading into the holidays, time to give yourself the gift of a home upgrade. Time to turn your regular old home into a smart home. Embrace the future of smart living and start empowering your home with intuitive control. Call my guy Dan. He works for Easy Automation, easy-automation.net. This is his direct cell phone. You can talk to him directly about how easy it is to turn your home into a smart home. Get a free, no-hassle quote from Dan by calling 630-730-3728 or visit easy-automation.net. I am here in Wicker Park on Division Street with the band 50 Kate Check in celebration of the vinyl release of this album right here, $50,000 check. To my right, if you're watching this, even if you're listening, she is still to my right. That is Kelly Torch. In the backseat, it is Mason Payne, guitarist and founder. Also, Kisira Hill, bass guitarist, in the backseat. The majority of 50K Check is here. We are outside Lilac Tiger, 1742 West Division Street. We are going to talk about the fact that this handsome vinyl record has its release at Shuga on December 13th. But first, Lilac Tiger gave us some food to chew on as we talk.
Yeah.
Kisira, you set this up. You're plugged into this place. Tell us what we should know and what we're about to eat.
Yeah, Lilac Tiger is number one delicious. It's over here on Division. Thank you for cracking that bag.
Yeah, I thought that would be good timing.
As I'm speaking.
That's it's radio. This is radio. It's sound effects.
Lilac Tiger is great. It's owned by amazing chef Shuga, and he's running the South Asian cocktail bar with a great food program, Indian, Korean, and Filipino-inspired foods. With a bold kind of variety of twist. And I get that blurb as I read it off of my phone from my business partner, David, who is also a part of this program, too. And so we like to keep it in the family a little bit. As an ex-hospitality beverage person, I reached out to my friends in my fam, and they hooked me up at Lilac Tiger.
I can smell the food. Mason, by the way, not standing on ceremony at all. He's already eating.
Like we are for ceremony purposes.
Sarah, we're listening to you with rapt attention in the front. We are really interested in what you have to say. We're paying attention.
I'm passing it around.
Mason's basically saying, "Fuck it, I got the bag."
We've got chicken. They've got a great veggie selection as a vegetarian myself. Perfect. I'm very into that.
The chicken does smell. I mean, the second you open up that box, I mean, it's like those old cartoons where the scent fingers. I got hit by the scent fingers.
Just because you have headphones doesn't mean you can't have one bite. Just might as well have a bite.
All right, let's.
The restaurant smells amazing.
What are we looking at here, Kisira?
Yeah, we're looking at the THC chicken. No wheat involved here, though, just flavor. Great, delicious little kind of chicken nuggets here with some sesame, green onions on top.
They smell divine.
I couldn't tell you anything about that, but y'all give me the review as a non-meat eater. The vegetarian dish that we have is our vada pav, which is almost like a potato croquette inside of a little mini slider. Delicious kind of brioche bun action. This is coming straight from just having eaten this so many times.
I am doing my
It's
best.
spicy. It's delicious. I'm usually one to be like, give me some hot sauce so I can add some flavor to this. There is really generously no need for that with most of these dishes. I think at the menu it reads, yes, it's spicy, and no, we can't not make it spicy or something to that effect. And so, yeah, as someone that's a hot sauce heat lover, I appreciate the fact that there's no need for an extra dab.
Now the chicken has a little bit of heat.
Yeah,
but it's like appropriate. Like it's not melt your face. It's like right at the level it should be. By the way, I could listen to Kisira talk about food all day long.
I'm telling you. Maybe that's the next record. We'll play some smooth jazz, and you can read like menus.
Dusting off my server experience here, just being like, yes, what we have here is, this delicious dish. I'll tell you all about it. Many times.
It's all right.
We're gonna have a French fry. This was Wazwan.
It was Wazwan. Wazwan was the kind of startup, pop-up kitchen that Zubair was running. And I remember that because I think in 2020, Zubair had food at one of our first events, me and my business partner David, that I'll keep mentioning, not the David in the band. David in the band, different David.
Hello, David from the band.
David from the band,
Hello.
we'll talk about him when we talk about Shuga Records.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about David when we talk about Keys. Amazing human. But yeah, my business partner David, we hosted this event at Sportsman's maybe 2021 when it was safe to have people in masks outside. Excuse me. We hosted this event, and Zubair was our food person there and was hosting it as Wazwan. And so they showed up at the fireplace in the back at Sportsman's. For those that are familiar, there's a beautiful kind of like back patio area. If you're a smoker, if you're an outdoor person, if you have a dog, that's lovely. And so when we hosted the event there in 2021, he had Wazwan there. And that, I think, in the process of doing Wazwan and being the chefery stuff that he is doing, kind of supported him in getting this brick and mortar shop here on Division settled up. And so when Lilac Tiger emerged here, David Moore and Zubair got together and kind of created this as its brick and mortar manifestation. And they also have like a special event space in the background, which is pretty cute too, which is, I think it's called Coach House.
Oh yeah, I saw
so like
that,
they
yeah.
have like events and stuff back there, like special tastings and such. So
Not too
All
sure.
right, for the non-vegetarians in the car, please grab the chicken before I
Elbow it.
I capitalize
Yeah.
on all of it. And Juan Kim is part of this, right?
Kelly? Excuse me?
Juan Kim, Chef Juan Kim, is he part
Yeah,
of it?
yeah, absolutely.
Juan Kim was on Car Con Carne way back when with Kimski for episode 201. That's a dude who knows what he's doing.
Yes. And
That's
shout out because, they just opened up another restaurant, Mira, and that just got voted, and excuse me if I'm misquoting the article, but they just got voted one of the best restaurants in the U.S. So, and I think Times put that article out. Or, not Times, Time Out.
That's amazing. And you mentioned cocktails early on. Cocktails seem just as important to this place as the food. Like there's a big focus on Indian beers, Thai beers.
There is. The program here was started up by my business partner, David Moore. And when...
Wait, is that David from the band?
No.
Kidding.
Different David.
Well,
Third David.
you had me
More
there,
than
though.
Two Davids. I know. We have David Green. I'll start saying last names. We have David Green in the band,
David
who I
Green.
know we will talk about when it comes to the album and all of that stuff that he made happen. But David Moore started the beverage program here, and so worked together with the chefs on site, and it built out this really, really delicious and vibrant and dynamic beverage program. David worked with Zubair on this for the past little bit. I'm sure longer than the actual brick and mortar has been open, since they've been open, I think, for a little over a year now. But David, having been a cocktailier of it all, worked with this, got his skills up, opened Lilac Tiger with Zubair and the team, and just opened up his own bar over here on Damon, just up the street past the Six Corners, called Truce. And so now, we shift gears, but like the cocktail programming of it all, he's in charge of it there, and I'm really proud of him for opening up his own spot as well.
What's the vegetarian dish back there?
Vada
Here,
Pav.
Try this. It's
Yeah,
a slider.
this like delicious little potato kind of slider.
This is
This is huge. Like,
No, it's
the human mouth doesn't actually open this wide to eat this.
I've been making
And yet I'm going to try.
Yeah, the potato in here is like
Oh,
it's so
deliciously
Got-
pressed together.
got the heat right away.
good. Yeah, it's spicy.
It's like almost like a chimichurri kind of
Yeah.
on here.
The thing I love about these flavors, about these Asian flavors especially, they're so complex. There's so many different things going on. And it takes you like 2 bites to kind of capture everything that you're tasting.
It's very true. The spices here, like, we're getting a lot of South Asian spices, but also like with some of the dishes they have here, we're getting that Korean mix. We're getting a little bit of like a Hispanic in there. every once in a while, and they've rotated their menu a few times over. And so I appreciate them keeping this Vada Pav on the menu as a really delicious kind of staple for like an intro bite or a little shared moment.
This is a really substantive vegetarian bite.
Yeah.
This feels like a lot of food in a very small package.
I don't like to go hungry. Just because I'm vegetarian doesn't mean I don't like to be full.
Right, exactly. Oh, thank you to Lilac Tiger for the delicious eats. And thank you also for the detailed explanation of everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you earned your stripes as an honorary
brand ambassador.
But yes, a brand ambassador. That's exactly what you are.
I love supporting my family.
Well, let's talk about the music family. Who needs a baby wipe?
Yeah, we need to send those around.
Si, senor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again,
Kelly?
The album release, the record release, excuse me, is happening at Shuga on December 13th. $50,000 check from 50K check. The album's been out digitally for about 9 months or so.
Correct.
Well, we did finish up the album and submit it to Shuga and all of the digital platforms relatively at the same time. Mm-hmm. Mason is the one that handles the majority of like knowing the background and kind of the analytics of all the where we need to put stuff and how we need to do it. But knowing that we wanted to come out in like CD form and for it to come out in vinyl, we submitted it, and it just takes a second for the wax to get pressed. Like, you know, I don't know the inner workings of Shuga. David does.
David Green.
As an ex-employee for many of years, working in the kind of e-commerce space of it all, but it just takes a second to press that wax. So we were patiently twiddling our thumbs, but while we were doing so, you know, we had our album kind of release party initially, not the vinyl itself, but it going live on digital platforms. We had that back in March, and I thought that was really fun. And in the meantime, while we've been kind of celebrating our music video release for one of our first songs that's on the album, one of the first songs that we wrote.
Sorry.
The Heat.
It's spicy. They're not playing around.
My nose is running like this is the least glamorous.
I need more than a fucking baby wipe.
I need a bib. I need a box of Kleenex.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
and you know what? Maybe we should put a disclaimer. I think that's what's on the menu. Is the yes, it's spicy. Yes, we make it spicy.
And I like spicy, but when you're on camera, there's an added layer of self-consciousness. I just have to work through it.
Power through.
At least you have the camera pointing like right up your nose, so we can see you work through this.
Well, I like the sweat mustache that I do, and I'm fully embracing it.
A good spicy one will get you more in the top of the head too. Yeah. So I think to answer your question further, it's, you know, first album, so we wanted it out there. You know, we had a lot of things booked, and we wanted to have, you know, stuff to roll, and so this was a great, basically second bite at that apple, I guess, to reveal all of our internal marketing schemes to a marketing guy.
And can we just talk about how gorgeous this cover is? This is you, Kisira?
Yes, it is.
This is absolutely stunning.
You got to rotate it just like the words are sideways for the proper up and down.
Yeah, vertical.
Yeah,
you've got it.
Oh yeah,
almost.
There you go. Well, yeah,
tilt it
like,
45
degrees.
Up.
Yeah. No. You
Yeah,
have it right.
That's it.
Yeah, there she goes.
Exactly. Yeah, this is one of the first albums that I've like drawn, and I felt a lot of creative freedom. You know, kind of knowing that Kelly, Mason, Carl, and David will give me great feedback, and we want it to feel artistically ourselves, but also something fun and poppy that we haven't seen on the shelves. And, you know, having me in-house, or even when we need other things done in-house, you know, we've got video, photo, website design, kind of e-commerce.
It's all done by Kisira.
Not all of that, but we have a lot of people with a lot of skills.
No, but you really do. Like, all of our brand, for lack of a better word, is like all the visual stuff is done by Kisira, which is amazing to have somebody, like, you don't have to translate what we're trying to accomplish, because she just knows, because she's in the band, so she knows exactly how to articulate what we're trying to put out there visually, and she does an amazing job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good.
But yeah, I'm really proud of how it turned out visually, and how we'll continue to kind of show out on the shelf.
One of the hardest things about doing a podcast that's largely music focused is it's hard to describe sound. It's hard to describe music. Without playing songs, it's hard to convey that in a podcast. And I realize I didn't read my introduction to the band, so I'll do it now. 50K Check is a Chicago band that pulls together a welcome mix of vibes and styles that feels breezy but not ephemeral. Layered in some places, straightforward but subtle in others. Lots of melody and garage rock sensibility, elevated by the vocals of Kelly Torch. That's you. I don't know if that covers it or not, but it kind of takes us to where we need to go, talking about the sound of this band. This band is 4 years old? Mason?
Almost.
Is it?
Yeah, it was really
Almost.
depending on where you start things, but it really was a post-COVID idea
Yeah.
that we started trying to pull together as we were able to be pulled together. I think,
You were trying to start a band.
yeah. So
You were trying to start a band, and I was also in his space
Yep.
taking bass lessons.
all up in my space.
Take-
And
bass
I said,
lessons.
and then I said, I need
there's
a
a baby
practical
bass
application. You know, when you learn a language, and it's like, all right, well, if I don't go to France, like, this feels like it could slip through my fingers, despite my dedication. And so Mason had this beautiful space, and I was taking lessons out of the space from another person that shared the space with him, and I was like, I know that I need practical application, so, and Mason had the idea already to have the band set, so it was just a matter of getting connected and then finding the right people that we have now,
So, Mason, what was the vision for this band?
Around the time of being able to be around no humans, I was going through a lot of old stuff, and I found an old postcard. It was not mine. I don't know where it came from. It might have came from the house. It was this 1950s, I guess, kind of resort around the pool in Cuba or something. All these, god-awful people in their perfect selves. I don't know if you can visualize this or not, kind of that pastelish colors and everything.
I
Sort
love
of
that.
retro
And-
kind of.
and I was like-
Mad Men type look?
Yeah, and I was kind of like that, if you can imagine. And part of me wanted to just be in that space, but also hating those people. So I had this idea of like, I think we talked about, one of the first things we talked about was, creating music that would fit in that space, but having lyrics that would sort of quietly work against what all those people are all about. I
Absolutely.
think at one point we're like, we'll feed them with Marxism quietly underneath
Yeah.
like jazz music. But
What
like,
sounds like yacht music, but could be slowed down or be groovy, but then also have subversive lyrics. Not necessarily subversive to what you'd expect happening against those melodies and stuff, but something that is kind of ironically groovy.
yeah, it kind of hides a darker,
But fun.
a darker feeling. I know it's funny because I was one of the first places I was able to be outdoors was in Montrose Saloon. We're standing around a fireplace or
Yeah.
fire pit or whatever, and I was talking about Stereolab. I was talking about Sonic Youth. I was talking about.
On a related note, sorry to interrupt.
sorry.
I just recently got Mars Audio Quintet on vinyl.
I did too.
Delightful.
I got it from the what's that place up on I shouldn't say this when we're doing a Shuga thing, but there's a little record store up on, is it not Peterson or Foster or whatever?
Oh, Round Trip?
Yep.
Yeah.
And got it from there. Same exact one.
Lovely.
But
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
so
Stereolab,
and then we
Montrose
started
Saloon.
talking. She was in New Krungbin. I'll probably mispronounced the heck out of that. I was like, that's
I do
in the
love
Vibe
Mason
neighborhood.
Krungman.
And literally met Kelly about 10 feet away from where I remember standing there, having that kind of taking that postcard and putting it into a musical idea in the back of my head.
Yeah.
And we had talked about that a little bit, what that groove was like. And then I ended up meeting Kelly right next to where this all kind of came together in my brain and where we had thought about it. And so it just felt very nicely tied together in that way. And then, of course, you have multiple generations in the band. So, sometimes I'm trying to reference music that no one in the room knows what I'm talking about. Plus,
I
I
know
grew
what
up
that's
I
like.
grew up in D.C., so I grew up around, Bad Brains, Fugazi,
Got a wide
Unrest
range.
bands like this,
I was
right?
going to say, I don't necessarily think it's a generational thing as it is that everyone in the band is from a different part of the country or world.
Absolutely.
So
True,
we bring such different
So
influences.
you're not all native Chicagoans.
No, I'm the only one.
Kelly is the only native
Yeah.
one.
But it's just interesting, like you're saying, it's just really hard to describe our sound, even if there was an easy way. There just wouldn't be, because we're all bringing something so different.
It is hard to describe. I mean, it sounds familiar in many respects, but also it kind of goes in directions I wasn't expecting from that familiarity, and I find that refreshing.
Yeah.
We do too, yeah. I mean, we don't want to pigeonhole ourselves. Like, authenticity is the main thing, and everyone gives each other space to, present that, and it's just a really good dynamic that we have.
Well, let's talk about the album. Let's start. You mentioned the video. Let's talk about Cruisin'.
Yes.
Video shots. Was that Reggie's?
Yeah.
Partially, yeah.
Well, partially, yeah. We're kind of spread out around the city
We're
for that.
spread out a bit. Reggie's is one of the main ones, and I think Kelly. We were at Humboldt Park. We were at.
That's right.
We were at the bowling alley over here on Fullerton and Almost Western. That joint that I always forget, but I used to live right by too.
Seen a few punk rock shows there when I was younger, for sure.
Yeah.
Good times.
And so,
the day.
and then a couple of homies pulled in for some like local DIY spots. It was really when you have a music video, when you're like a new band and everyone's pooling their funds to get what we can get. We were so thankful to have like professional video people pulling favors and making it happen, but also like the local establishments, helping us out with a fun time. So yeah, first music video, really fun time. Kelly fucking killed it on that.
Well, thank you.
As the front woman, like being in front, you know what I mean? Like I love a good in front moment, but I've never been a lead singer and I won't be. I'm the bassist and I love being the support and the grounding moments and the rhythm. I love the rhythm section, but Kelly as the front woman or front person, whatever, a part of it, like fucking killed it in that music video. You gotta be confident, you gotta be on, you gotta be strong.
You gotta do a lot of costume changes.
You gotta be getting your makeup and your hair done. You gotta feel good about it. Like you gotta dance in front of a woman or man. We had two people holding cameras. It was either Lucy or Andy, and both are close to us. But regardless of who's holding the giant camera lens, like you've got to show out to like avoid.
Yeah.
So,
back to COVID, I'm actually used to doing that. I did so much like performing to a lens and to a camera during COVID, like so many live streams and that kind of thing. So it actually wasn't. And we recently did something at the Bunker that's on YouTube. If anyone wants to check that out, we did a live show, which is another unique experience, like performing to a lens, but like people are watching, like there's a virtual audience. So that's a interesting dynamic that we've been navigating as well.
I love the big fat guitar solo on that song.
That's because you're my age.
Yeah.
Is that why?
It's I had wanky guitar solos on there for a while and I just hated it, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do big long notes. I didn't use a big muff, which I should have done because it would have been too on Smashing Pumpkins ish, but it was going for.
That was one of our first songs that we wrote, and I remember vividly because it was one of the first bass lines that I came to the group with, being like, this is the bass line that I really like and I want to figure out how to make a song with it. And so simultaneously it's representative of like my early bass playing, which now I'm, I don't know, maybe 2.5, 3 more years into it than when I wrote this bass line for the song. But I love a good, fun, fast, punky bass line that doesn't need a lot of open E's, a lot of like high notes maybe in there. And so we started with that. And because we had played it and it was Kelly's and I's, when we would perform, Kelly would always shout out that this was like our favorite. And we would always get very, excited and animated when we played in live shows. And so this was our first choice for a music video. It felt really good as like a single, fast and hard, and when it came to life as a music video, it represents kind of like our identities as our like, rough selves. And then kind of an exploration of what it means for us to all kind of come together. And so the music video is kind of grungy and hard and trippy, and then it gets into us really showing out as a band. And if that's going to be the one thing that's on the internet that's like fine, polished, and stylized, like it feels good to have that out there.
Let's stay on the bass guitar for a second. Let's talk about Caretaker. I feel the bass on this one.
Oh my God, recording that, Kisira?
Honestly,
I'll never forget that.
It's like one of those songs where sometimes we'll play a venue where either it's small enough where it's just coming out of my rumble on stage and like that's what I've got in my ears, or whatever. But when we play like larger venues or we're in our practice space and I'm standing next to my cabinet that weighs 18,000 pounds that I refuse to bring anywhere, that is the song that we're going hard on. And I'm obviously biased to some bass. So Caretaker is that heavy bitch, and people love it when we play it.
Well, there's like a nervous energy to this song.
Yeah,
It's a song we completely rewrote in the studio. Like, we went in the studio pretty much with every other song completely mapped out. That one was just kind of not coming together. It was close, but there was something not quite there. And so, much like some kind of big-time rock star band that sits around the studio for months on end writing 2 songs, we sat there and rapidly rewrote a song with the 45 minutes, hour and 40 minutes we had left in the studio, and completely rethought it. And it was great that it came together in that kind of way, because a lot of times these songs that aren't quite working, we're all sort of in our corner trying to figure out why it's not working, but you can't, in a rehearsal space, a lot of time hear what's not happening because it's loud in there, and you're whatever.
we're all mucking about, playing different stuff.
Yeah, when you
trying
can
to
suddenly
figure out our own pace.
when you can suddenly hear it played back to you through precision speakers and everything tight mic'd, you're like, oh, what if we were not doing that at all? What if we stopped that right there? What if we made this much easier to stretch things out and then try them again in that space? So it was that to me was the one time where I came out there going, who would be nice if we had that big record label money where we could just sit in there and write albums, amongst microphones and producers and engineers and people who know how to suggest
with the
little
swiftness
bits.
that Kelly writes some lyrics over some melodies that you churn out, we could be, the quickness.
So
that
record
music
labels
can happen,
with all the extra money these days.
Yeah, here we are. You know where to find us.
That's what I was going to ask. Did you bring lyrics to the band, or did the lyrics come from hearing the music come together?
One song, Attachments, which is on the record, is the only song that I have brought lyrics first. And then Mason kind of put together the arrangement for that. We have a really dialed in situation where Mason sends me instrumentals and then I'll write over it. And it's funny because Caretaker, he was sent to me and he's like, just take different parts, we'll arrange it differently later. And I just did a run from start to finish, and he's like, oh, okay, I guess that's what we're doing. I just laid it down, so that's why all the parts are so, it goes, like you said, goes many directions, but I don't think it was ever designed to be that way, but that's the way it ended up.
Yeah, I've had to be more careful going
How you
forward
send it.
to actually have 4 times or 8 times through the verse, so we don't end up with a 7 stanza going into 3, and then the next time the chorus comes around it has to be 4, because I was just,
because that's just how you sent it to me originally. I'm like, well, that's the song now, so
it's
that's
down
what
there,
came
and
out.
the
So
basement hitting the button, I'm like, it sounds like enough for that, let's go to the next. But so that's, I've enjoyed kind of, the band started with us just here's a handful of songs, let's figure them out, and then move to now, the new stuff is really more of, our drummer Carl has a very particular style that really pulls from a lot of different directions. He plays music in a lot of, I don't want to say world music, but he has a much wider palette than just kind of punk rock drums.
Mm-hmm.
And that has really kind of helped lift some songs, especially when you're trying to figure out how to make a longish verse do something.
he was adding Carl. So Carl wasn't in the band until a year ago, and he came in, we had all our songs already, and he came in and just what a drummer does, with the timing and everything, because Mason can get into the weeds a little bit, and so he came in and just was okay, this needs to be shorter here, and he really just tightened up our songs. He gave them such a new life, and it was perfect because it was right before we recorded the album, so everything was just right where we wanted it to be before we made this record.
Well, and going back to Caretaker, his drums, there's almost a galloping sound to that I think is really helpful to that song.
Yeah.
We weren't sure we would ever actually be able to do that live.
We get winded. We work our way up to it. There was a practice where we started with it, or maybe it might have been the second song that we did during a practice, and I look over, because I know that my fingers are about to get very tired, especially if it's been a medium-sized gap between practices. I'm like, okay, I'm wiggly fingers, I'm ready to go. Carl, the same way. We look at each other, we're like, all right, we're gonna have to hit this hard, accurately, and fast. And he's appropriately winded by the end of it in a fun way.
So you have to be warm to play this. You're not opening with this song ever.
No, we never opened with this song.
We did once. We did a chorus.
And I probably looked over at Mason being like, why the fuck are you
Yeah, that's cruel, Mason.
Because the song I get to start with doing a lot of feedback, and sometimes you need to alert people to get
Mason
themselves
gets to
to the
have
back,
a fun
back
time
of the,
just
into the
having
bar.
feedback, fun play.
Oh yeah.
That's not really playing anything. Controversial opinion.
I'm layering. I'm giving atmosphere.
You're just mucking about with some fun stuff.
I'm creating atmosphere. I've got to learn.
Meanwhile, my fingers.
Less strumming, more atmosphere. That's how you become.
Well, let's talk about atmosphere. Let's talk about Easy, which builds to this almost shoegazy guitar freakout, which is all you. Where did that come from?
I mentioned one of the early influences was Stereolab, and I was desperately needing to have a song where we could really get into a trance kind of moment and let things build on we're not listening to someone do a bunch of guitar stuff. You're not listening to a whole lot happen. You're hearing repetition and building and repetition. And so that song, Easy, was the first song that was putting that song on that pool in that postcard where it starts all like, I think she even starts the song out poolside.
You're exactly right, because this was all the conversations that were going on at the time.
Yeah, and the idea, I mean, if ever the money for the video is, it starts around the pool and everything gets more haunted and crazy, and by the end it's turning a very pleasant scene into a very, I don't want to say dark scene, but
sinister vibe.
The freaks have taken over the pool, but and so I think the big idea with Easy really was we wanted to have the fun part of it, the groove part of it, and lull you in with what it sounds like where the song is going, and then let it turn, and in a way that if you're just laying back with a THC infused chicken nugget, and you're like, I mean, and
you're
just
going nonverbal,
you're enjoying the whatever it is, the D minor way, where E minor just flow over you for a while.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, that was not to bring it back to Stereolab again, but my introduction to them was in the back of a Lollapalooza in 1994.
It's some of my favorite parts of the songs, like where we get sometimes wavy or trancy or repetitive building, where I feel like the layers that we were able to have and create in the studio with Brock at Friends of Friends, the layers and the ideas that Kelly had for her vocals as we were recording, and able to kind of build up, whether it be Long Goodbye with an orchestral or Easy with its trancy kind of fade out, and you have more of Kelly's vocals building and then a hard drop. I really like those moments because it allows me and Carl as the rhythm section to get a little bit pocketed and fun and even groovy, which is the pendulum swing that I look for when I'm not doing kind of harder punk, but it also gives Kelly a pendulum swing and everybody a little bit of a pendulum swing to either slow down, lean in, build up vocal layers, get ethereal with it or whatever. And those are some of my favorite moments.
There are incredibly subtle background vocals on Easy, which I think are really cool too.
Yeah.
Brock at Friends of Friends was amazing, and he just did everything with that record that makes it so, like you're saying, the atmosphere of it, we have him to thank for all those nice touches.
Thinking about songs that build, Interlude is all slow burn, and I guess this is the point where we can invoke the keyboard, because the keys sound really cool in this song too.
Yeah.
Atmospheric.
Very much so.
Yeah,
that's another very dark though vibe that we're trying to talk about. I like that song a lot.
Yeah.
Honey has a cheery vibe. Is this an example of a song that's cheery but maybe the lyrics aren't?
I would definitely think so. But this is one of the first songs ever that Mason actually wrote in the way beginning. I added and changed it a little bit, but yeah, I mean, in my mind, you came in certified. We're talking about mental instability over here, but yeah, it's kind of like that. What's that pumped up kicks? It's
exactly.
All happy, and then the lyrics are wait,
okay,
this is weird and dark.
It and Long Goodbye are both very post, trying to get back in the world post COVID and shaking off sort of either things that are holding you back, people are holding you back, or just life. And it's, I think in that one, I was, at least I was putting those lyrics into Kelly, into a person who would deliver that. With a lot of, and she did exactly what she needed to do, which is take those words and change them and put in her own. But the feel of it was just supposed to be, it starts out, here's a lovely person, here's a lovely situation, and they're just living life, and by the end of it, you're they're fighting off that awful, and maybe that's awful was all the death and misery of COVID, and maybe it was other things I think there's even I think I remember writing that right around the time John Prine died, because there's a John Prine lyric in there somewhere that I just stuck in there just to have it in there for my own peace of mind. But anyway,
Well, also on the bridge on there, I'm going to cut you off. I say going out of my mind, but really doing just fine. And, that's kind of the concept there, too. It's like, okay, you feel like you're all in your head and you're going crazy, but you're actually fine. Like, I feel like that's like the resolution of that, too.
Yeah. No, you took it from being how I would have sung it, which was, not prettily, and you kind of elevated it, and like the edits you made really kind of made it into what it is, which is, I think
a song about mental health.
A song about mental health,
Yeah.
which was. I mean, that was everybody coming out of
Instability.
COVID. It was mental health. It was, yeah. I really liked what you did with it.
Listening to this album, listening to you talk, I feel like you're really lucky to have found each other. Like it seems like you've kind of found the right people to do this and move forward.
I fucking hope so.
Yeah. If you had a bigger car, you could have had all 5 of us.
Well, it's funny that you say that because we
Yeah.
were talking about like how old the band is, and the 3 of us have been together, but we've had some people rotate in and out.
Sure.
And the lineup that we have now is, I definitely feel what you're saying about being so grateful, but definitely feeling like the relationship that we have in terms of songwriting, for sure, like understanding each other, like we said, coming from wildly different backgrounds and different influences, but finding a way to make it mesh and gel, like that is very rare.
Yeah.
So again, don't want to bury this. This record right here can be purchased at Shuga on December 13th, Friday the 13th.
Friday
Yeah.
the 13th.
Friday
or-
the 13th.
Are you
can
okay with
probably
Friday
find
the 13th?
I
We're
think
dark
they
and
might have it
sinister,
in shop.
remember, man?
Yeah, they might have it in shop, but the collective celebratory moment for getting the album
In-store
is December
show.
13th. Yeah.
Will there be cake?
It is.
We could have cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
You
we'll have
can-
THC cake.
You can get this record sooner on our Bandcamp if you want to make sure we get all
Yeah.
that money still.
Yeah, absolutely.
Help
and
us.
if we have any shows in between, we'll be selling them and slanging them.
Yeah, of course.
You could pull up to my apartment in Wicker Park,
That's
and we'll
right,
probably
yeah.
be slanging them. So, yeah, it's really been a beautiful process, and to have Shuga press this, and like they're colored. They're like vibrantly colored varieties of like, when they slap different colors down on like the wax, they press it. I just watched those videos.
I was saying to Mason before you two got here, like vinyl collecting is such a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like any kind of gear collecting, very dangerous.
yes,
Very dangerous.
and I mean this could be someone's gateway drug to vinyl collecting, like seeing the cool vinyl color, the cool music.
Yep.
And that's the hope.
Yeah.
That's a loop.
I almost got pulled into a Mac DeMarco special edition that was like a chrome vinyl, and I was like, don't do it. But yeah, the fact that they look really cool as they're spinning, or that you're shopping from a joint like Shuga that's pressing the vinyls and distributing them is like super sick. So yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And I think, like I said, it sounds great. The album's called $50,000 Check. You are called $50K Check. It all comes together. Shuga Records, the celebration. There may be cake. It doesn't matter if there is or isn't, because the music's there, you're there. Congratulations. This is an awesome debut album.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
having us.
In your lovely car. We're sorry it will smell like this for a while now.
Oh, these are intense smells.
Yeah.
But it'll be a reminder. It'll just trigger wonderful memories of my time with 50K Check. But on that note, thanks to Lilac Tiger also for the hospitality and the delicious food. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.